Today, we're going to move into our unit on movement. This is our very last of the 5 themes of geography that we're going to cover for this year. We're going to look at 3 aspects of movement: the movement of people, the movement of goods, and the movement of ideas. The first one we're going to look at is the movement of goods. I feel like that's the one that's most relevant to your everyday life. If you did not know it already, you actually live a life where you have an international, global existence happening right inside your home. So how do those products that you buy or I buy and use get to me from all over the world? Well, just like this computer here that you're on, the computer you see on the screen, all goods need to move from where they're manufactured, which is where they're made or created, to where they're distributed to the consumer. So who buys the product? When we look at it that way, you have to think about the fact that not only do they have to be made and shipped, the shipping company is a part of that. There might be a housing facility, and then it also gets shipped to a certain location, a store, or directly to your home. The process by which goods are transferred from one place to the other is that formal definition. We are going to have a little bit of fun with this. You're going to have kind of a home investigation where we look at maybe some of the products that you use the most. Where were they manufactured and how did they get to you? Before we do that, I love to show a video. So let's watch a little video to show you one example of a very modern, innovative way to distribute goods to the consumer.
This is a story from the not-too-distant future. It's the day of your daughter Millie's big football match, and to be clear, that is the sort of football you play with your feet. Anyway, she is missing a vital piece of equipment, specifically a size 3 Puma Evo Power firm ground soccer shoe, the left one. And some of it, sadly, is in the family's 3-year-old bulldog, Stuart. So now what? Well, you could yell angrily at the poor thing, but what's the point? Because all it will hear is blah, 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 Stuart, blah, blah, Stuart, blah. Much better to behave like a rational human being. Find your tablet and place an order with Amazon for a pair of Puma Evo Power firm ground soccer shoes and have them delivered in 30 minutes or less. And in a location not too far away, a miracle of modern technology is dispatched. It's an Amazon drone, and after rising vertically like a helicopter to nearly 400 feet, this amazing hybrid design assumes a horizontal orientation and becomes a streamlined and fast airplane. In time, there'll be a whole family of Amazon drones, different designs for different environments. This one can fly for 15 miles. And it knows what's happening around it. It uses sense and avoid technology to, well, sense and then avoid obstacles on the ground and in the air. Back at the house, you're getting a message on your tablet to say that your Prime Air delivery is arriving. And it goes back to vertical mode and scans the landing area for potential hazards. This amazing innovation then lowers itself slowly to the ground, drops off the package, and flies straight back up to altitude. And moments later, you're walking through the door with a brand new pair of Puma Evo Power firm ground soccer shoes, size 3 for Millie, and a Nylabone chicken flavoured Durachew for naughty, naughty Stuart. And balance is restored to the universe.
I just thought that'd be a fun way to introduce this idea of goods and how they get distributed to the consumer. I'm wondering, because we have now an Amazon facility here, I wonder if that would happen here. So as we move on, we're going to move on to this idea of...
This is a story from the not-too...
We're going to move on to the next one, which is ideas. How are ideas such as religion, culture, dance, sports, food, cuisine, technology, innovations, or traditions shared with others? So you guys are living in this really strong age of technology. Our life kind of surrounds ourselves. We are surrounded by technology all the time. We're using technology just to simply have school right now, whereas ideas used to be spread simply by person-to-person contact. So it's very interesting how things have transpired throughout the years and how everything has changed. I really want us to dig into when we're looking about this sharing of ideas is that it's not just a simple sharing of some idea, a dance, a type of food, or a tradition. We're actually helping to increase our capacity as a civilization. And as we move into our ancient civilization unit, we will talk a lot about that, which I think this is a great setup for understanding that. I thought instead of just talking about maybe the sharing of a culture or a religion, that we would dig into something that's really innovative. And I'd love to show you this next video here. So one reason why this stood out to me so much is that as we move into our globalization unit near the end of the year, we're really going to take a look at spreading some ideas to help for change. And you guys are going to be creating videos such as this, something along this line, to really share your idea of what can help support our world as a whole. And to do that, you have to be able to share your idea in some way. And videos seem to be a really fabulous way to do that. So we'll look at some of the ideas that have been shared with you when we do our home investigation this next week. And then when we get in our globalization unit, this concept will come up at that point again. So our next concept that we're going to look at is this idea of the movement of people. What causes people to move to a place or from a place? And we're going to really dig in. This is going to be the biggest part of this unit is the push and pull factors. This will all be connected to the UDHR that we've been using all year. So I love that you guys have had a nice little background of getting used to that Declaration of Human Rights, because it's really going to set you up for success and understanding why people sometimes choose to move or sometimes are forced to move. The formal definition is it's kind of big and wordy, but it does talk about the fact that there are different reasons why and where people move. Sometimes they move across international borders, and sometimes it's within or as from state to state. People might be displaced because they no longer have a home, like due to a hurricane or a fire. It might be, which makes them a refugee of sorts. It might be that someone lost their job in a certain area, but found a different job, and so they're moving towards that job. It could be that they've been away from their family and they want to be reunited and live in the same area of their family. We're really going to look at some real life examples about why people move. But I thought it'd be fun to really dig into, before we dig into that, is to watch a little video, of course. And here it is. So just kind of a nice little insider view about what are some reasons why people move. We are going to talk about all of these concepts a little bit more at length while we have our class discussion, when we share our ideas and we do our home investigation. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey about the movement of people, goods, and ideas.